Welcome to the Global War Watch Network. Today, we're jumping right into a major flashpoint in one of the world's most critical waterways, where a single tanker seizure is sending shockwaves across the globe. Now, before we really get into it, if you want to stay on top of critical global developments just like this, please take a second to subscribe to our channel. It really helps us keep you informed. So here's the situation. A tanker's been seized, its crew detained, and a very clear message has been sent. The Gulf of Oman, well, it's heating up all over again. All right, so let's get into the specifics. What exactly went down here? We're talking about an incident that happened just days ago, right in the heart of one of the most vital shipping lanes on the entire planet. Okay, let's break down the key facts. You've got an oil tanker, and it's not a small one. It's loaded with 6 million liters of diesel fuel. It gets intercepted by Iranian naval forces in the Gulf of Oman. The entire crew, that's 18 people from India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, they were all detained. And Iran's official reason for all this? They claim the ship was smuggling fuel and trying to be sneaky about it by turning off its navigation systems to go dark. So this immediately raises a pretty big question, right? With everything else going on in the world, why is Iran so laser-focused on fuel smuggling? Well, as it turns out, it really just comes down to money. Yeah, to really get a handle on Iran's official motivation here, you've got to follow the money trail. And the economics behind it all are actually pretty simple. It's really a tale of two completely different prices. See, inside Iran, the government subsidizes fuel so heavily that it's some of the cheapest you can find anywhere in the world. But then you take that exact same fuel and put it on the global market, and suddenly it's worth a fortune. That huge price gap creates a massive incentive for a black market, making illegal exports just incredibly profitable. And this is a really crucial point for understanding Iran's perspective. They don't frame these actions as aggressive geopolitical moves. Instead, they present it as simple domestic law enforcement. They're basically saying, hey, we're just cracking down on illegal trade, and they often point to official court orders to back it up. But here's the thing. This incident didn't just happen in a vacuum. If you zoom out and look at the last few years, you'll see this is just the latest move in a much larger and, frankly, escalating pattern of confrontations. This timeline really paints a picture of how things have been ramping up. The really serious tension picked up back in 2019 with those mine attacks on ships. By 2021, things got even more serious, with deadly drone strikes that killed crew members. And since then, it's just been a steady drumbeat of seizures, Greek-flagged tankers, a Portuguese one, ships from the Marshall Islands, and it all leads right up to the incident we're talking about today. So you can definitely see a consistent strategy playing out on Iran's side. But they are not the only major power operating in these waters. And that's where this whole situation gets a lot more complicated. What we're really watching is a direct back and forth, almost a chess match with the United States. A great way to think about it is like having rival highway patrols on the same critical stretch of road. Both sides are pulling over vehicles, or in this case, ships, that they believe are breaking the law. I mean, this is a classic tit-for-tat conflict. On one side, you have Iran seizing vessels, claiming it's all about smuggling. On the other, you have the U.S. enforcing its sanctions, carrying out its own counter-seizures against ships it accuses of being part of Iran's illicit oil network. And here's a perfect example of the U.S. side of this. Literally 2 days before Iran's latest move, the U.S. Coast Guard boarded a tanker way over off the coast of Venezuela. Washington claimed this ship was part of a sanctioned network moving crude oil for Iran and its allies. And this wasn't a simple boarding either. They used a full-on helicopter operation to take control of the vessel. Well, as you can imagine, that move prompted a pretty furious reaction. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro immediately condemned it, calling it an act of international piracy. So just like that, you've got another layer of global tension added to the mix. Okay, so let's step back for a second. We've got two major powers clashing in one of the busiest shipping lanes on Earth. So why should the rest of the world care? Well, the global significance all comes down to one thing: geography. The Gulf of Oman and the nearby Strait of Hormuz, they form an incredibly narrow maritime choke point. It's a bottleneck that is absolutely essential for global trade to function. Just how essential are we talking? Get this. A staggering 20%, that's 1/5 of the entire world's oil supply, passes through this single narrow waterway every single day. So you can see why any disruption here has immediate and serious consequences for everyone.
The stakes here are just incredibly high for everyone. We're talking about a potential shock to the global economy. We're talking about escalating instability in a region where the U.S. Fifth Fleet is based. And let's not forget the very real human cost for the international crews who are literally caught in the middle of all this.
And all of this leaves us with one critical, sobering question. With both sides actively patrolling and seizing ships in this vital choke point, it feels less like a matter of if these patrols will clash, and more a question of what happens when they finally do.
Thank you for joining us for this explainer from the Global War Watch Network.
If you found this information useful, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button. Share this with someone who'd be interested, and of course, subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, and you can join our community on social media. All the links for that are right there in the description.